Hello everyone, welcome to day 2 of Unit 3B Inequalities. Today we're going to talk about multi-step inequalities. So today's is just with variables on one side. It is basically the exact same as multi-step equations. You just have that one extra rule about flipping the sign. Okay, so we go ahead and do the same steps. So step 1, we would distribute anything we need to distribute. Step 2 would be to combine any like terms that need to be combined. And then step 3 would be to solve. So make sure, well, for right now, just solve your two-step equation. Okay? Remember that if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must flip the sign. Okay? So example 1, solve and graph the solution to each inequality. So here, the very first thing we want to do is distribute. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and distribute this 1/2, which you could easily change to 0.5. So where's my little, there it is. I'm going to multiply the 1/2 by the x, and I'm going to multiply the 1/2 by the -4. It's a -4. So 1/2 x is just 1/2 x. And then 1/2 times -4, which I just split up the -4, it's okay. That will give me something. There we go. 1/2 x, or you could just write it as x over 2, 0.5x, all that stuff would work. And 4 over 2, which we're going to go ahead and simplify. So we actually get something that doesn't want to show up right now. This is so much fun, guys. I'm just going to type it in. So I'm going to say 0.5. X minus 2 is less than -1. Okay? Now I just go ahead and solve. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides, so plus 2. I'll make that a little bit smaller. And plus 2. Make that a little, ooh, not that small. Sorry guys, technical difficulties. So I get 0.5 x is less than 1. Now I just go ahead and divide. I'm going to divide by 0.5 on both sides, right here. And I'm going to divide by 0.5 on this side as well. Now, you want to make sure you do this in your calculator because this will give you x. Let's see if it'll show up. Nope. I can see it too. I don't know why it's not showing up. It's kind of weird this keeps happening, huh guys? There. That will fade in now. Okay. When you multiply, or when you divide 1 by 0.5, you get 2. So x is less than 2. Now, to graph it, you guys have a number line. I don't know why this keeps happening. It's really weird. So you guys already have a number line that's labeled. So I have a 2. And I'm going to put an open circle on it because it's not equal to. And I'm going to point to everything that is less than 2. Okay? And that's it. Now you guys are going to try this one on your own. Remember, you could flip this around if you wanted to. You just have to make sure that you flip the sign with it. The open end still needs to be facing the same one, like same side. Okay? Example 2, we're going to solve and graph this situation. So this one doesn't have any distributing because there's no parentheses, but it does have a lot of terms. So we're going to go ahead and try to combine like terms. We can only combine things that are on the same side. So I have a 13 and a -1. Those can be combined. And I have a 9x and an x, which is really a 1x. I'm going to combine them. So here, 9x plus 1x gives me 10x, and 13 minus 1 gives me 12. So I just go ahead and merge those together to create 10x plus 12, and I just keep the same inequality sign, is less than or equal to 72. Now I can just go ahead and solve. I'm going to subtract 12. I get 10x is less than or equal to 60. Divide by 10. I get x is less than or equal to 6. And that's my final answer. Again, your number line is already numbered. but I'm just going to put a 6 in here. I'm going to have a closed circle on 6 this time, and I'm going to point to everything less than 6. Okay, so now you guys are going to try this one on your own. Now example 3, we're just going to put it all together. Okay, so we're going to look at A. First thing I do is distribute, and I'm going to distribute this positive 2 to the x and to the 1. So I just go ahead and multiply that out, and I get 5 plus 2x plus 2 is greater than or equal to 23. Now I'm going to combine like terms. I have a 5 and a 2 that can be combined. The 2x is just by itself. So I combine the 5 and the 2, so 5 plus 2 gives me 7. And now I just go ahead and solve. I subtract 7, I get 2x is greater than or equal to 16. Divide both sides by 2, and because I'm dividing by a positive, I don't need to flip my sign. I get x is greater than or equal to 8. So on my graph, I go to the 8, I'm going to put a closed circle on it because I am equal to, and I'm going to point to everything greater than 8. Now B, you could rearrange this if you want to, but you don't need to. First thing I notice is that there's no number in front of the parentheses, so I should write in that invisible 1 that's right there. And that's what I'm going to distribute to the x and to the negative 7. Distribute that negative 1. The 3x is just going to hang out in the front. So I go ahead and multiply 1 times x and 1 times negative 7. That gives me 19 is greater than or equal to the 3x that I just brought down, negative 1x, and a plus 7. Now I'm going to combine like terms. Well, 3x minus 1x, those are like terms because they're both x's. So 3 minus 1 gives me 2x, and I just bring down the 19, the inequality, and the 7. Now I go ahead and solve. So I subtract 7 from both sides, and I get 12 is greater than or equal to 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and I get x is less than or equal to, I get 6 is greater than or equal to x. But we want to have the x on the other side. So if you didn't already flip it, we're going to flip it again. The open side of this is facing the 6, so when I flip it, which is over here, I want to make sure the open side is still facing the 6. So that is my final answer. So to graph it, I'm going to look for the 6 on my number line. I'm going to put a closed circle on 6 because I am equal to, and I'm going to point to everything less than. And that's it. Okay? So now you guys are going to try this on your own. Okay? It might not be a bad idea to flip it. If you're having trouble with that, go ahead and flip it. But we will go over the answers next class. All right? Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.